that should not be mentioned. Nico and me, I don't know if that's English. Nico and I met in treatment. Nico, tell the viewers what brought you to Utah.
Oh, okay. So I'm in Utah, unfortunately. I still wake up every morning being like, how did I end up here? But I'm blessed still. Okay.
Nico and me, I don't know if that's English. Nico and I met in treatment. Yay, embarrassing. Yeah, so Nico, what brought you to Utah?
So what brought me to Utah, well, that's a long story, but how long does this need to be?
I don't know.
So what brought me to Utah was like a lot of things combined. Julia, you know, but I'll tell our viewers here.
We have 3 viewers.
So I'll tell our viewers. What brought me here was a lot of trauma. I have some PTSD, some depression issues, and I had some drug issues in the past too. So like I needed a lot of help for that, for like getting help with the PTSD. Like I still am struggling today with it, but I feel like I've come a long way. For like Julia knows, but there was a local pedophile in my area who sexually assaulted me and a bunch of other people. So that caused me to go into a major depression, have a lot of PTSD, caused me to. So what brought me to Utah, well, that's a long story, but a lot of things combined. Julia, you know, but I'll tell our viewers here.
We have 3 viewers.
So I'll tell our viewers. What brought me here was a lot of trauma. I have some PTSD, some depression issues, and I had some drug issues in the past too. So like I needed a lot of help for that, for like getting help with the PTSD. Like I still am struggling today with it, but I feel like I've come a long way. For like Julia knows, but there was a local pedophile in my area who sexually assaulted me and a bunch of other people. So that caused me to go into a major depression, have a lot of PTSD, caused me to, and now PTSD, like to cope with it, I started using drugs, and yeah, from there it just went south very quickly. And then I ended up going to rehab for a little bit. I've been sober for 1 year and 4 months now, so yay. And I don't know how to explain this. Yeah, I've been sober for that long. Then after that, I went from the treatment center in Tennessee to here in Utah. So my abuser, I'll say like he was formerly a cop. Yeah, a cop. And he was not the best cop, let's just say that. He actually got expelled from the local police force in my town because he would pull over young female and male motorists, like they're like maybe ages 18 to like 20 something, or some of them 17. And he would expose himself to them. Like he would expose his genitals to them when he would pull them over and assault them. So he got expelled for that, but he didn't really get in trouble with the law for that. Um, so because because of that, he basically got a slap on the wrist and probation. So he was out there just doing his thing, I guess. And one day I encountered him, and unfortunately I was sexually assaulted by him. This happened in December of 2016, so almost 3 years ago. So 19 now, yeah, almost 3 years ago. And like he ended up following me into a bathroom and like molesting me and like violently attacked me. I ended up going to the police, and he was arrested, but released on bail 5 months later. So he was out for like a year and a half, and we were waiting for a trial to happen. And finally, like a trial came up, and I had to read a paper called Impact Statement, where you have to go and you have to read it in front of your abuser, or like and say how it's impacted you, how it's impacted your family. Like it was very rough, but it was like kind of closure for me. But unfortunately, this man also got probation because he accepted a plea bargain or plea deal from us where if he admitted to everything, he would only get probation, which was ridiculous, but that's what ended up happening. So he ended up just getting probation. It was not a good outcome, but at least like I got some closure from it.
Because of this trauma in your life, how do you think people around you who like knew you personally saw you?
So I think like some people like they viewed me as a person. They felt terrible for what happened. Others that knew me personally, even though I didn't really talk to them much, they were my classmates. Some of them made fun of it, or stopped talking to me in general. That was probably one of the worst parts because you feel alienated and stuff. And also, you people are always like, guys don't get like sexually assaulted, even though that's totally untrue. But you know, statistically, maybe it's like a lot less. But I think guys don't. I don't think a lot of guys come forward because it's just not looked. It's just not really talked about. But yeah, I think I was either I was looked at as like a complete freak, or like, oh, this happened to him, or like I'm not gonna talk to him.
And because like something significant like that happened in your life, and like it's not something that many people have to go through. I don't know. It's clearly not something you share with strangers, and it's clearly not something you're like. It's not something you want to tell people like online.
Yeah.
So,
Well, in a way, I'm actually okay with it online because, well, I mean, not like I was assaulted like online, but like, I think it actually tells people like it is real. People's lives may look perfect, but this does happen to them.
like social media is very fake and very like dishonest, and people paint a picture that isn't true to like themselves or their life. And I'm not saying you necessarily do that, but what's something that can make people understand that like what they're doing is like, I don't know, like ingenuine, and like what's something about you that makes you feel like a real person that people might not like know?
Like, might not know? Okay.
Like what do you think makes you like, what makes your story? Like what makes you you?
Well, I'm a survivor, I'm a
Yeah.
fighter.
Yeah. Like go more into like your treatment, because like people like
Yes. So
at my school like don't know
So even back home, some of my friends know, but some don't.
I mean, like, I go to uni and, like, nobody knows. And, like, I'm not willing to let people know, but I'm saying, like, I feel like people don't know what goes on behind closed doors.
Exactly, and that's really true because social media, you get like you said, you only see people's photos at the beach, or like for example, like let's say you went on this really nice vacation to like the Jersey Shore or something, and then you go on Instagram and then you see someone else's like profile and you see their vacation at the same time, and you're like, wow, they went to the Bahamas, like what the heck, or they went to Paris, like my life must suck.
Like, I know people who, in my Florida treatment center, like, we'd literally be in treatment and they'd be taking selfies and pictures. And, I mean, it's I guess, weird, but there's one person who'd be like, why is she taking pictures like she's on vacation? Like, sis, you're in a mental institution.
Exactly.
Which is true, but, like, people can take their reality and turn it into something that's completely not.
Yes, exactly. And, like, it's a big problem. I mean, I've done it. I mean, I'm sure everyone's guilty of doing it at least, like, I mean, more than once. I mean, you're not gonna post all the bad stuff that happens in your life. Nobody's gonna want to know that about it. Well, I mean, no one's gonna.
Yeah.
Well, maybe people will like it, but
I feel like there's like a spectrum. People take it to like the extreme where they Facetune and Photoshop every single thing, and they only show like vacation pictures. Then there's people in the middle who still edit their photos and like don't speak about like what goes on in their life. And then there's people on the very end who like say, I'm depressed, and like don't know how to handle it, so they just tell the whole entire world.
Yeah.
Like, where on there do you feel, like, not in just those three categories, but where do you feel like you fit in?
Like where I fit in?
Like, how do you feel like you use social media?
You know, I'll admit, I haven't used, okay, so I think I've been on all of those in my life, at least.
Yeah.
Like, I think I fit in all of that spectrum because, you know, like when I first got social media, I think I was in 8th grade. Mm-hmm. I got my Instagram account, and the thing is, for me, like I'll just start this. I went to a small Catholic school from like 4th to 8th grade, and well, 4th to 7th grade. And my class only had 14 kids. Like every grade had 14 kids or 16 kids in each class, like in each grade. And you know, if 2 of those kids didn't really like you in that class, you're kind of screwed. Because then they kind of like are the bully and they can spread, you know, in a class of 16, you know, not good. So I was like severely bullied a lot from like 4th to 7th and part of 8th. Because like, you know, back then, I was in the closet. Like, nobody knew that I was gay or anything. But the thing is, like, people would always be like, oh, that kid's like a faggot or something. Or, you know, he likes dick or something. And like, you know, I'd be like, oh, wow, I can never like come out with anything. And I can't put that on social media. I can't like, you know, I'm not going to put that on social media, never. And or something like, you know, and like that's one example. Or so like when I got social media finally in 8th grade, I was so desperate for friends. Like, you know, when I finally actually got a group of friends, and like I actually kind of like was in a big group. Like, you know that like I don't even know how I got into that group in high school. Like it was the you know that high school crowd that's actually pretty popular, but they're not like the mean ones, they're actually the nice ones. I was actually in that group. But the thing is, I got so like desperate for like how do I say it? Validation, yes. So like I wanted to be validated in real life, and I wanted to be validated on like social media. Mm-hmm. So like I would see some of my friends, like for example, like for me in 8th grade, 50 likes was a lot for me.
Yeah, Instagram was new at that time.
Yeah, Instagram was new, but then I'd see other people get like 300, and I'm like, what the heck? Yeah. I'm like, wow, I must suck as a person, or I must like, you know, I'm not popular.
Yeah. I mean, knowing what you know from like when you first made your account to like now, do you feel like it's gotten better or worse for you?
You know, I have my days where I'm like, I wish I think everybody gets that little rush of like, wow, I got a like, that feels good. Because there is a science behind it. When you get a like, there's a rush of dopamine that goes to your head. And people can get, social media can actually not be a drug, I shouldn't say that. It can get addicting.
Yeah.
And I was actually at that point, and sometimes I still am. Like, I'll be like, wow, so like I need to stop, so I delete the app or something. And that takes a lot for me to delete the app.
Yeah. I mean, being in treatment is a lot different.
Yeah, so like,
than for people who aren't, and like I feel like people don't understand a lot more, like that this exists and people are actually in it and people are functioning, and it's not just like your asylum and your home. Like there's steps in between that. So I feel like, how do you think treatment has like impacted like your confidence, your self-esteem, your use of technology?
yeah, interesting question. Okay, so treatment, it's been a struggle, but at the same thing. At the same time, it's made, I miss my phone, but you get it. But the thing is, what was the question?
Like, there's, like, being in treatment is not your typical, like, 19-year-old, like, how do you think it impacts, like, your everyday, like, technology use? And how do you think when you don't have it or when you do have it, is it better or worse?
I think it's a 50-50 on that. So, at the place where I'm at right now, they give us a Motorola, and yeah, they're not the best phones, by the way.
They're not. That's an understatement.
Yeah, PG. They're not the best phones. And like, so like I'm not really missing much with that phone, but at the same time I'm like, wow, I wish I could have this. Like I wish they don't really allow us to have social media. So I think, and I get why, but I think
it's a part of like
normal life.
Not even just normal life, but I feel like every single person in society is connected in some way. So I feel like by not having that almost is a disconnect.
Yeah, true.
But I'm not saying like, oh, like we should have it, and I'm not saying we shouldn't. I'm just saying like, because social media like controls today's world and society, it's, I don't know, I think there's an issue within that, but I also think that like, it's sometimes just isolating, because like there's things that go on that like, I don't know, like I just feel like social media is like crazy today. Like everybody.
It is.
Everybody has some form of it, and if they don't, they know it exists.
Yeah, or they're looked at as weird for not having it.
Yeah.
Like you don't have a Facebook. Like, yeah. And I actually have tremendous respect for those people because they didn't stick to the status quo and get one.
They didn't fall into the
trap. Yeah, and like being here at treatment, it's made me feel like I guess both emotions. Like I feel like kind of upset, obviously. No one is dying to go to treatment. I mean, if you're actually dying to go to treatment, I'd be more surprised. Yeah, I'd be like, you need to go somewhere like worse than a treatment center.
Yeah.
If you're
there's more underlining factors to what makes you want to be in one.
Yeah, exactly. So when I'm here in Utah, I'm like, they don't allow us to use social media here, but I'm just going to be honest. I think everybody here at the place where we're at has gone on social media when they weren't allowed. I mean, at least I have, and I know a lot of other people have. And I made the mistake of going on, and I was like, wow, this kind of makes me depressed.
You like, that you're here.
Yeah, it kind of makes you depressed because you're constantly comparing yourself. I'm like, wow, I could be in college right now, and all of my friends are like, on their first day of college, they're posting in the dorms or whatever, and you don't feel like a normal person. And you're obviously not going to post.
Obviously,
I'm here.
I'm in Utah.
Yeah, I'm in Utah. Hashtag we love Utah.
Hashtag treatment center.
I know. You're not going to put that because people are going to be like, what?
Yeah, I think there's an issue between, there's a lot of people who, preach about, people aren't genuine and, they're fake and, they don't post, they just post the good things and what people want them to see.
Yeah, and
Like,
people say that, but they do the same
yeah, that's
thing.
what I'm saying. So it's like funny because it's like you're right. Like it'd be almost like it'd be uncomfortable, and it also like you know that like people would look at you weirdly. But then it's like those are the same people who are saying like people aren't like honest. They're always editing their photos and like. So I feel like there's a disconnect between what people say and what people do.
Yeah, that's why I don't really post selfies because it's just like,
It's up close in person.
yeah, it's just weird. I don't know. For me, I don't like posting them. I'm just like, eh. And for me, so like, yeah, the treatment here, I'm just like, wow, I wish like, you know, I felt normal, or like, you know, sometimes being at this treatment center, some of the rules, you're like, wow, I really am here. Like,
Yeah, it's sometimes I wake up and I'm like, sometimes like, they just remind you, and it's like, sometimes you just try to go about your day and you're just like, yeah, like I'm getting through this the best I can, but then sometimes like there's little things that are brought to your attention and you're just like, well, thanks for reminding me that I'm here, like I'm trying to live my life the best as I can while I'm here.
yeah, so yeah, like with social media and everything, you won't post like I'm at treatment, like ever. But the thing is, like people never know about what's actually happening in your real life.
Yeah, so like
Unless you're actually a pretty transparent person.
there's people, like we were just discussing how people like preach that like they want people to be like more honest with their lives on social media, but then don't do that. What is one thing you think people should recognize? Like what do you think that, like, because we're trying to fill the gap between like a fake reality and people's like reality, what do you think do you have any like advice or ideas that could close that gap a little bit further?
So advice for
like people out there, because there's people like even at UVU who have literally no clue that people go to UVU from treatment. Like there's just there's no comprehension. I'm not even just talking about social media. Like I feel like this video is about social media and about like how people think people's lives are one way when it could really be another way, and that's why you're sitting here.
Exactly.
So like
you can be walking on the street and
not
not
know.
know. Like sometimes like maybe me and I'm sure you and I'm sure other people have gone through treatment are sometimes walking the streets and feel like treatment is just stamped on their forehead. Like right? You ever
especially like in the vans and like with the certain people you're with.
Yeah.
The staff wise, get over here.
You can be walking the streets, and then be thinking, wow, everyone's seeing me as a treatment kid, but yeah, nobody knows. Or you could be walking the street when you're out of treatment and maybe see some people, and you don't know, they don't have depression written on their forehead, they don't have bipolar, they don't have eating disorder
You
on
don't see them
their
in the 3-second interaction.
Yeah. You
And
don't,
like I feel like that's the most important thing. Is
yeah, you don't see anything like mental illness or struggle related.
especially strangers on social media, like people can look at someone's life and like the way they choose to paint it is like on them. So like that's solely like their issue. Like they decided to put their life out like that. But then it's also very difficult for someone to look at that and think that their life is not like that.
Yeah, like, I mean, the Kardashians, like, I'm sure aren't the best.
No, I wouldn't think so.
I mean, it's the Kardashians.
No, I mean they have money, they have fame, they have resources, but beyond that, they could have mental and emotional issues that we have no clue what's
Also, they have a sex tape going around, so.
That's old.
I know. But yeah, like not everybody's happy. I mean, celebrities. I mean, you've heard of them. Like they commit suicide all the time.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not just being famous or getting likes on Instagram isn't everything. And I may be a hypocrite because I still want likes. I still sometimes have those days where I'm like, wow.
If you could change one thing about the community of social media, what would you do and
so
how would you try to enforce it?
Trying to enforce it, I guess.
And what would it be?
This is cliche, but people need to know that like everybody has their struggles. Like they need to have that.
I feel like it's a lot easier said than done. And people
it's a
can
lot
recognize
easier.
that, but like I'm not saying like you physically have to like make something and like start this revolution, but like in a perfect world, if you could change something, what would that be?
Like anything, even if
Anything,
it
I
doesn't have to
don't
do with
care
social
what it
media.
is. No, like like it has to be around like internet use.
I wish sometimes social media apps didn't exist in the first place, so we wouldn't have to worry about even getting social media. we'd connect with people. Because sometimes we're literally like, oh yeah, I'm connected. I still think like, oh yeah, I'm connected, but like we're not though, at the same time. Like people don't even really know how to shake each other's hands now.
Yeah, they don't have conversations on the phone either. It's all
Yeah,
texting.
yeah, which is sad, but it's a reality now. So I mean, I probably would change that. I mean, people had way better manners at them, and I can admit that. I sound like an old person right
No, like my
now.
mom says that like people, like when she was a kid, like nobody had that. Like you couldn't call your parents to say what time you were coming home, and everyone like survived. Like they didn't have the way of communicating. You go to your friend's house, you play out till like it gets dark. Like you don't have that thing to fall back on, and I feel like that's where the issue lies. Is that everyone knows that it's something that they can fall back on.
Yeah, exactly. Or use that as a crutch. Have fun down the crutch over there. Yeah. But yeah, it's just a very like it's a tricky situation because like it's just constant validation that people want, and that's all people want in life. I mean, like they want to be liked, and that's fine. But social media, I just don't think it's gonna help you feel liked. It actually makes you feel more lonely sometimes.
It's very true. There's like a lot of.
It's gotten me to actually cry. I'll be honest. It's
Oh
gotten me
yeah,
upset.
I believe me. I've been upset before too.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think if I was gonna change something, I'd be like, I'd get rid of Facebook. I'd get rid of Snapchat. I'd get rid of that stuff, so people don't feel that way, or at least have another reason to feel that way.
Yeah, they're
There's already a crap ton of reasons.
they're also missing something. They're lacking something in their lives that social media might give them that they're not going out of their way to look for.
Yeah, exactly. And people people look for that all on social media, and I'm like, it's all around you. You just have to look, and it's harder to look for. I mean,
In real life.
it's way harder. I mean, you just need to. I don't know.
But what's one thing that you have never posted on social media?
So one thing I guess people don't really know is
There has to be a lot of things. Not
yeah, there's a
everyone
lot of things. They don't know. I mean, some people know, but a lot of my followers don't know that I have like major depression or like even the sexual assault or like just different struggles. They just don't know the struggles, or sometimes they don't even know like family background, like stuff like that, and like that's for me to tell them, or like it's for me to decide when to tell them. Like, and I'm like, internet, like something stays on there forever. Trust me. I still have I sometimes look at my name and I'm like, ooh, that's a Twitter account that like I don't use anymore, and I'm like 11, so I'm just like, ooh, that's not good. So, I mean, everything stays on the internet forever, so people need to know that too.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you speaking.
Of course. Thank you for having me. Hey. Stay strong. God bless you.